Hi kids, welcome back to the show. Today we're going to be going over how to use Unpivot in Power Query and see what we can do when Unpivot fails us. So first and foremost, we're going to do just a really quick primer of Unpivot. Here we've got some data that's in a cross table layout. I'm going to hit Alt-APT to load it up into Power Query. And we want to go from this cross tab layout to a vertical table layout, sort of a proper data set. So once it's loaded, I can just go to transform. It's got the player column already selected. I can go to unpivot other columns, and it's done it for me. I can just do some renaming here. We can call this column round, and we can call this column score, and this is a proper vertical table layout. And that's about the most basic sort of unpivot that you can have. But if we look at this data set, we can see that it's a little bit different. For each row, we've got units and price all split into 4 different quarters. So let's see how we would make this work, because it's going to be a little bit more involved than our first example. I'm going to say Alt-APT to load it into Power Query, and I'm going to select city, hold shift, and go all the way up to quarter 4 units, and we're going to unpivot other columns from there. Once I've done that, you can see that we've got now an attribute column. Wait, that does not look right. I think I might have done something wrong there. Let's just do that one more time. Unpivot other columns. That looks right. Okay. So again, we've got this attribute and value column that have been created. I'm going to hold control and also select the city column, and we're going to unpivot other columns again. Alright, so I'm going to rename these things. I'm going to call this quarter, and you'll see why I'm calling it quarter in a minute. We'll call this units, and we can call this price. I don't need this first attribute column anymore, so I'll remove that. And now we're going to group. We're going to group it by city first. Go to advanced, add grouping. We'll do units next. And then we'll do quarter. Or no, price? No, quarter, I think. And no aggregation. There we go. So now we've got the city, we've got the units, we've got the quarter, and now all we really need to extract out is the price. So the way I'm going to do that is, first I'm going to be turning this into a list, and I need a way to access items in their positions in that list. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to add an index column. There we go. We've got our index column, but the problem is I need this to repeat from 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3 over and over again. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to wrap this entire step in another function called table.transform columns. All right. And then we're going to say, in double brackets, we're going to say index is the column that we want to transform. We're going to say each number.mod underscore 4, because we have 4 quarters. And I think that should do it. Good. All right, so we've got our index column. It's going 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3 like we wanted. And now I can click on our count column just so we can get our little preview going. And I'm going to say, add another custom column. And this one's going to be table.column. We're looking at the column that has the tables in it, which is count. And we want to get the units. The units? No, we want to get the price out of this. So I'm going to say price. And that's going to turn this into a list. Click OK so you can see. Each list has 4 things. So we need to extract these list items by the index column that we have here, essentially. So the way that we would do that is I'm going to open this back up, and we're just going to use our list access operator, which is going to be the curly bracket, and then we're just going to say the index column, close curly brackets, and now it's extracted the correct number for what we were looking for. So now I can get rid of our index and count columns. I'll just remove that. I'm going to rename this column price. So we've got city, quarter, and units and price. I just want to get rid of this where it says unit, so now I can go to transform, extract first characters, 2, and there we go. I've got city being repeated for each one of the quarters that it had data for, how many units it had, and what the price was. So that's how you would do this, still using Unpivot. I'm going to call this the long way. And we're going to duplicate this and see a different way of going about doing this Unpivot. So duplicate, we'll rename this short way. And we're going to just delete everything till the end. Alright, so conceptually what we want to do doing it this way is we want to be able to do something for each row that we're on. So when we're on row 1, I want you to do X, Y, and Z. Then move on to row 2 and do X, Y, and Z. So that's the way I thought about this problem as I was coming up with this. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to just do this all in the advanced editor now. And I'm going to say table.transform rows, because that's what we're doing. We're going row by row. And the first thing, I'm going to reference the previous step, which is source. And then I'm going to say row. I'm going to use this row instead of the each operator just because it makes it a little bit more readable to me. And then we're going to say, so we're going to be making rows by using lists. We're going to have a list of lists. And that list of lists is going to make a table. So we're going to use table from rows. Okay? And then, like I said, we're going to have a list of lists. So we need double curly brackets. So you'll see now, we're basically on the very first row. Like if you, I mean, we are on the first row, but if you think about how it's going to end up, we're on row 1, the very beginning. So what do we need in that very first row? If we think about what the output's going to look like, it's going to be city first, right? So we need row city, and then we're going to need row quarter 1 unit, right? And then we're going to need row quarter 1 price. And that would be a row. So I'm just going to copy everything within the inner curly brackets, comma, and paste this 3 times. So paste, comma, paste, comma, paste. And now all I have to do is go change all these 1s to 2s, 3s, and 4s. So here I've got city, row, price, city, quarter 2. We want to change that to quarter 2. Then we'll go city, quarter 3. And the last one will be quarter 4. Alright. Looks like I'm missing something here. Token equal. What is the issue here? Oh, I need to name this step. Whoops, forgot to name the step. Alright. Cool, no syntax errors. this time. Let's see what that looks like. All right, cool. So now we've got a table of lists, and each list, or each table in the list, has it separated out by city, essentially. So I need to change this list of tables into a table of tables. Easiest way to do that is going to be just to click this button to table right here. And these defaults are fine. All right. And I'm just going to go into the advanced editor here, and I'm going to copy everything in our previous step, minus that comma. And I'm just going to paste it right here because I don't really want to add a whole extra step to this thing just for turning it into a table. So this is referencing the previous step. I can just paste all the code that was up here into there. And then I can just copy this entire step and paste it back to our previous step. So we're basically just getting rid of that converted table step. Copy, transform, paste it there, and good. So now that this is a table, we can actually extract these values. We can see we've got this button here, and we're going to uncheck the use original column as prefix. And there we go. We can start renaming. We can call this city. We can call this units, and we can call this price. Only thing is we don't have our nice little column that tells us what quarter it happened in. So I mean, we can fake that basically the same way as we did the other one with our index column. But you can see this is a lot shorter than the other one was. If we go back to long way, we've got 2 or 3 times the amount of steps that we did in this one. So, I mean, obviously I'm going to add more steps now to show you how to add the quarter back in, but that's easy enough. So we'll just go to add index column. We'll start it from, I'll do it from 0, I guess. And I need to do the same thing that we did before. So we need to say table.transform columns. And we called that index. So we're going to transform index. And we're going to say each number dot mod underscore comma 4. Let's see how that looks. All right. But I need to add 1 to each one of those, so I'll just do +1. There we go. And we'll wrap this in a text.from. So we're basically just converting this from a number to text, so that way we can add a string to it. We'll say Q and now we've got our quarters. So I'll just move that over here, call this quarter, and we're done. So there we go. In this video, we have looked at how to unpivot, just the very basics. We looked at a situation where unpivot isn't as easy as it seemed in the beginning, but we can still make it happen using unpivot. And we use this completely different way of getting the same result. I like this way a lot better. It just seems a lot cleaner to me. When you're doing a lot of these big pivots and unpivots, I don't really know exactly how that might impact performance, but to me this seems a lot more streamlined. I don't really have a good way of like testing performance of this way versus that way at the moment, so I just sort of go with what seems best. But it really comes down to what works for you. Hopefully you learned something in this video, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.